And welcome to World Aviation Festival 2024. It's my pleasure now to introduce our first keynote speaker, a longtime friend, Michael Swiatek, who is Chief Strategy Officer and Chief Accessibility Officer at Abra Group, parent company of Avianca and GOL. Mike, we've known each other, 25 years? Maybe even longer. Mike's one of the smartest people in the airline business, and he has a really inspiring message to share with us this morning about the importance of accessibility in digital channels and elsewhere in our industry. So please welcome Michael Swiatek to the stage.
Thank you, Henry. Listening is the key word for this morning. So please, if you want to shut your eyes and listen, become a better listener. I hope to entertain you with some tales from 40,000 feet, some stories of battles on the air and in the ground, and also inspire you, especially the entrepreneurs and startups, with some words from the Old Testament that apply to entrepreneurism. First, however, let me thank Henry, let me thank the organizers, the people who are here to show their products, all of the guests, Schiphol Airport, and especially KLM, and in particular KLM, a flight attendant, Liz, who was extremely helpful and accessible on my flight from Chicago to Amsterdam the other day. So thank you. Experience. Henry mentioned I'm a Chief Strategy Officer, also a Chief Accessibility Officer, the first, we believe, in the airline industry. There are very few Chief Accessibility Officers in any industry. Microsoft has one, IBM had one, Hewlett-Packard has one, a few smaller organizations. But it's a title I'm very proud of. You also have probably noticed I'm using a mobility cane. It helps me find where I won't fall off the stage. And I am blind, low vision. I have been from birth, and that's been the battle of my life. If you think airlines are difficult, blindness is a multiple of the difficulty of airlines. I've been fighting it from birth, and as I said, the fight of my life. But please do not feel pity for me or sorrow. I've turned it into an advantage, not a disadvantage. And I encourage you all to do that yourself in your own lives. Experience, Aldous Huxley once said, is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. So be a doer at this conference. Listen, talk to people, learn, make the most of life. A connection to the conference, I hope to inspire the innovators. I hope to empower technology. And I hope to give you a vision for a more accessible airline industry. The title of my presentation or speech is actually Empathy, Inclusion, Accessibility, and Leadership. Empathy. I think we all know there's a definition that empathy is put your feet in somebody else's shoes. See the world, quite ironically, through the eyes of someone else. Here's a great story about empathy. My CEO, Adrian Newhouser, also friend, brother in arms, so to speak, he's a very empathetic person. He was on a flight 3 weeks ago, and he said, I want to see the world the way Mike sees the world. So he closed his eyes on his flight, and he said, oh my God, where is the call button? Where is the IFE? And he came back with a message and said, Mike, we need to make this better on aircraft. Talk to Boeing, talk to Panasonic, talk to Recaro, Airbus, etc. Let's make the controls at any seat, in economy or business class, more accessible. I'm happy to say we're not only taking that idea, but we're hoping and aiming to put call buttons even in our lounges. That's a more accessible world. That's empathy. Inclusion. There's a quote from the Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel, who said, "The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference." The word indifference is key to inclusion and exclusion. I was on a flight. I also should have thanked my lovely wife, Debbie, who's in about the third row. She's my everything. She helps me on these trips. We were on a flight together, and here is a perfect example of exclusion in the air. So I told you we'd have some tales from 40,000 feet. In a premium cabin, thankfully, I fly about half in premium cabin, half in economy cabins. The flight attendant says to my wife, with me sitting right next to her, "What would he like to eat? What would he like to drink?" As if I wasn't there. That's what exclusion is. That's what indifference is. So think about not doing that. Accessibility. Here comes the Bible quote. In the book of Leviticus, it says, "Do not damn the deaf man, and do not put stones in front of the blind man." What does that mean? We're in an industry we have documented over 200 pain points for passengers with disability. All of those pain points are an opportunity for the entrepreneurs and startups in the world to remove those pain points and make some money, to make air travel hassle-free. When you're traveling blind or deaf or in a wheelchair or with a neurodivergence, the obstacles and barriers are everywhere. Let's remove those constraints together. And that's an opportunity we have at the festival. And finally, I want to say something about leadership. Leadership characteristics: you need to be a good communicator. You need to be a fast decision maker, but you also need to inspire. Let's inspire the innovators. You also need to empower. Let's empower technology. You also need to give a vision. In a brief time, I'm hopefully painting a vision for you for a world that is more accessible. And finally, right back to where I started, listening. Leadership begins with listening. So use your ears, talk to people. Don't think about what you want to say. Wait until the moment rolls over you. Enjoy the conference. Thank you very much. I hope to meet many of you at the booths, etc. Thank you very much.